understanding hard perspectives in terra firma. All right, so whenever you see the Polaris, you're seeing it usually typically right in front of your face, unless you are in Rupus Nigra. Then you would see it above your head. You would be looking at the true north, which would be straight up in the air. But for lack of a better photograph of the Polaris, everyone can Google the Polaris, and it's always in front of your face. You always look directly at it. You never look up at it. It's because you're not that far into the center. Because if you were in any of the lower or in the northern lower continents, or no further out, because this would be north, south, east, and west on the compass, right? So the true north would be up, straight up in the air. So whenever you see the Polaris in front of your face, you're nowhere near it, because you'd be over here seeing it straight forward, which means this thing's a hard perspective. Like this is probably so far out. This is pushed out, like out here, and this would be way bigger. I'm gonna redo this and make a bigger version of it. But I had a firmament dome that I created. I'm still gonna put it together. I'm just gonna make it bigger now because it needs more detail, and it's not as detailed as but this is definitely a good idea. Where you see the horizon get white, that's what you're looking at, reflection of the dome, and that's like a snow globe of sorts. But even when the sun is up high, or what appears to be high, it's always high in the air, you still see a white horizon line, which I can see if I go somewhere high in this place. I can go high up and see the whiteness in the horizon. All right, anywho. But if you're in a deep city, you'll probably see brown smog before you see that white horizon. Interesting enough, the white horizon ends before the smog ends. All right, so when you see the sun and you look up, then it's more above your head. But when you're looking at the horizon, you still see a perfectly round sun. It's because of the hard perspective into space. But let's say if you were in the snow, snowman everywhere, and this is the snow area. This is Alaska. Now we're in Alaska, or wherever, closer to the cold regions right before it gets super hot. The Polaris would be up here. That means, if you go to Rupus Nigra, you're gonna see a sun that does that. That's what that means. Unless, of course, you're standing underneath and you're looking up to see a sun that's doing this near Rupus Nigra. This would be actually in the winter solace when it hits and it stays on the crux for 3 days, and then the sun comes off back into it, because it spirals in to the center and then it comes out. And that is where the winter solace is, where it stays really nice in the colder areas for longer, or it stays daytime longer. It's very hard to explain, but none of that can happen in outer space. None of that shit makes sense in outer space. If you see the moon doesn't spin around, it only sits on its face, while it only makes sense for this thing to be conscious because it is a light being projected to only sit on its face, which only looks like a sphere because you would never see the projection, because you would have to be behind it to see it. And every time there's a rocket that goes up, it gets black and you cannot see anything but where the light was, where it's beaming, which shows and proves that it's nothing but like a beam